Austin here with Tour Carterville, and I'm here today with Hopper Seeley, who is the president of the new Grind City Brewing. So, Hopper, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
excited to be here.
Yeah. So, if you could, to start off, tell our viewers just a little bit about your background and where you're from and all of
So,
those things.
born and raised in Memphis, moved out to Collierville for when I was, I think, in elementary school. Moved out to Collierville, went to actually Terra Oaks Elementary, shout out.
Yeah.
And then from there, lived in Collierville for most of my life, but worked a lot in downtown Memphis and other areas. But what really got me started on this path that I'm on now was I was 13 years old, and my dad, who he's also a part of this as well, he's the chairman of our company.
Okay, gotcha.
And
he family business.
Yeah,
then.
family owned and argued over for a whopping toot whenever we legalized the company.
Gotcha.
But it's been great. It's been great. Yeah, he's also the president of Varsity Spirit.
Okay.
So he's a very helpful advisor for Grind City.
And busy guy too. I'm sure.
Very busy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like back what he is now. So he travels a lot for work because cheerleading is national. So he's going all over the place, and he'd be home for a weekend, and he was just trying to figure out ways that all of us could just have a father-son bonding. 'Cause I have a brother, Deke, and who is culinary school. Shout out to you, Deke. And he was like, hey, he brewed with David Lenore at his place one time. And my dad was like, hey, we're gonna brew beer together, son.
So had your dad had any experience with brewing before, or was he just jumping into it?
Jumping in. That's everything he does, because they live in Rossville now, and it's like they are all in. It's like, oh, we're farmers now. And it's like, what? Dude, you were born in Hawaii, but lived in New York City. Like, you're not some farmer. But
kind of the other side of the spectrum.
Everything that he does, he dives straight in. So so I started brewing by myself. 15, and really got into researching the process of beer, and because I was like, okay, if I'm not going to be drinking it, like I want to make sure everybody that drinks this loves it. Yeah. So a lot of times at school, which wasn't great as a student, was not great, did not thrive in that environment. But also a lot of times I would just slack off, and I'd slack off. It's research and development. And beer recipes and formulations and proper steps and ways to do it.
I guess you figured if you can't taste it, you got to at least know everything there is to know about it.
Yeah. So, 15, 16 years old, and I'm just researching beer nonstop. And so I was like, I'm gonna go to college. I luckily got accepted into Boise State. And I was there for a whopping semester before I was at Boise State, and the goal was business degree, brewing school, in that order. I was back on the brewing path. And I was signing up for my second semester of classes, and the teacher, the advisor, was like, okay, you got to do this, and this before you take business classes. Right. And I was like, all right, hold up. When can I take business classes? What year? She said, your lucky junior year. And my dad was like, well, Hopper, you know the rule in our house. If you point out one problem, you got to have two solutions. And I was like, well, I got two solutions. Brewing school. What? You're 19. You can't do that. And I was like, well, you think inside the box, Bill. I was like, in Europe, you can go to brewing school when you're 18. Yeah. And I applied to 2 brewing schools, and I got into both, and I want to go to Sunderland, England, because they speak English.
So that was your 2 solutions. You had 2.
Yes, I had 2 schools. Yeah. And Brew Lab, which me being naive, I was thinking, oh, it's going to be brewing and talking about beer. The romance of beer is what it's called in the industry. And got accepted, went to Brew Lab, and wow, was it not what I expected.
Really?
It was, you brewed like once a week maybe, and the rest you were in the lab. And I was miserable.
You're almost like a scientist at that point.
It felt like it. But, I learned really quickly, all right, I got to hire someone who's better at this than me, because I am not good at this.
So how long did that take? How long is brew school?
It was only 9 weeks.
Oh, really?
Like 9 weeks, but they fit 4 years in the 9 weeks. Because the professor
sounds tough.
The professor was the head brewer of Heineken.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't drink beer. He liked gin. And his favorite beer was Heineken and Coors Light because of the science, not because of the flavor.
Wow.
So
you're getting to meet some cool people.
Yeah, meeting a lot of, and he also introduced you to a lot of different owners of different aspects of breweries, not just the brewers, but the people who make the malt for it, make the grain, hop farmers. And it's like, this is really, that was the part that I thrived at, was just having conversations with them.
So you came back over here, obviously.
Right.
How long ago was that?
Okay, so I've been back in the States now for 3 years. And when I got back...
How old are you?
I'm 23.
23.
So yeah, I got back, I was still 19 when I got back. Okay. And interviewed for a few spots, and I actually got into a brewery in Water Valley, Mississippi, to be one of their shift brewers. And but when you're a brewer, you do everything, because craft breweries tend to be really small. You have you're brewing, you're packaging, you're kegging, you're serving in the tap room, so you're everything at a place like that. So worked at Yalabusha Brewing Company. I worked there for I think it was about a year. Okay. Great experience. Great guys there. It was great and they were willing to just let me do and mess up and learn.
Yeah. That's great.
It was great.
That's what it takes, is messing up so that you can figure out how you.
I'm really good at learning the hard way. That's probably the best thing.
So, all right, let's jump into Grind City Brewing. How did that idea come about for Grind City?
Part of Brew Lab, we had one of the last things was making a business plan, and I did great at that part, because one of my mentors, Dan Patterson, I worked for him at a liquor warehouse before I went to Brew Lab, and he's mentored me. He also is a money manager, and he does so many things. He's very fascinating and really smart. And he walked me through, kind of held my hand and walked me through how to write a business plan. And I would bring my business plan, and he'd bloody it all up with a red pen. I actually won Best Business Plan at Brew Lab.
Wow.
And I also won a beer festival there. We got gold medal. First time a student, our team at Brew Lab was the first time that anyone has ever won a professional beer festival. Wow. We made a Belgian wheat IPA. It was bizarre, but it was good. Huh. So with that business plan that I had, I came back to the States, went to Dan, was like, Dan, I gotta do this. And he's like, all right, first you gotta work for other breweries. So I did. Second of all, this is good for a test, and he bloodied it up, corrected it, and then went to the banks and pitched. We got our loan working with Pinnacle Financial Partners, and so far they've been fantastic. Yeah. And now we're just waiting on permits, and then we're going to break ground soon. We're going to have some beer in the city soon.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Well, can you tell me a little bit who all is involved? I know you said your dad's involved in some capacity.
So my dad's chairman of the board, and I'm president. Our general manager is Tyler Nelson. Our head brewer is Mark Patrick. Okay. I've known them just from brewing with them for years.
Have they been brewing here in Memphis previously?
Yes. They actually, we all worked together at the same time at Ghost River.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
you worked at Ghost River too?
I was at Ghost River for years. That was great experience, great memories there. It was kind of fun. I was actually able to
beer. They've got some good beer. Grindhouse is one of my favorites.
Yeah, Grindhouse is a great beer, and also they're pioneers. So you got to give them tip off the hat. They were the first ones here. Yeah. And they've been around for 10 years, and we all learned a lot from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've kind of built this thing from the ground up. Can you give me a little, insight as to what that process has looked like?
One thing led to another. So like the realtors led to the architects, who led to the engineers, and then all of them recommended Linkus as the general contractor, and it all just came together. And it's really funny, like when I ever have moments where I'm just sitting down, I'm just. Because like even right now, a lot of energy. Yeah, that's how I'm really high energetic in the mornings, and
but everything just kind of came together like that.
Yeah, and it's
feeding off each other.
It's out of my control, and being okay with that. Yeah, like I can manipulate a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you are around great people, you'll be fine. Yeah, and that even goes into our business model of great beer plus great community. And it's like those go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's more about the people and the experience that surrounds beer. And it's like, we're all doing this. What do we do at the base of the day? We're just making beer. And it's like, but with all these great people, it's beyond that. And it's a really surreal experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, location. Where are y'all?
So we are in Uptown. So
Uptown. Okay.
It's Uptown is an up and coming new development.
New term.
Yeah, new term.
Not Midtown, Uptown.
Yeah, not Midtown.
Yeah.
So the way that it's kind of divvied up, because we're off the harbor.
Okay.
Our spot is gorgeous. So it goes Uptown's north. Pinch District is just below the Uptown. That's where St. Jude is. Mm-hmm. And then just below the Pinch District is downtown. Below downtown, South Main.
Okay. Yep.
And we are at the peak of Uptown. So we're roughly, so if you pass the pyramid on front, we're probably a minute drive from there. The thing's like 2 miles from there. Okay. So we're pretty close. All the districts of downtown are very small.
Yeah, yeah.
And we are in Uptown, 83 Waterworks Avenue. The road does not exist right now.
Okay, so don't GPS.
Don't GPS 83 Waterworks. You will drive up to a ditch.
So that's your location. Can you tell me, you're getting close, right?
We're getting
February. Is that right?
To break ground. That we're shooting for that. Yes, okay. And we should be able to hit that. We're finalizing the building permits right now, and then once we finalize that, maybe a week or two of logistical stuff with our contractors and our bank, and then we'll be breaking ground and hit the ground running. So it's going from just kind of a stall of permits to this is going to push the domino, and everything's going to start rolling.
Gotcha. So what is your optimistic kind of
optimistic's tomorrow, but that's I would say realistically probably this summer.
So let's get into the different beers. I know you've got all kinds of ideas.
Man,
different lines of beer. You're gonna have a flagship beer.
We're gonna have a flagship. Okay. But the main theme of all of our beers, we're gonna have flagship, seasonals, and one-offs. We're gonna do some of the fun stuff that you see other breweries doing, but we're gonna be really tightened down on flagships. We're brand new. Right. We got to establish our place in the market.
Right.
And the main goal of our beers is drinkability.
Okay.
So a lot of the beers that we're developing now are not even 5% alcohol.
Okay.
They're lower than that. But your Miller Lite, your Bud Lights
4.3
are like 4.2, 4.3. I think Shiner Box 4.4. Just we're 4.4. And
one better, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we wanted to make sure that, because that's the group we want to be with, is high drinkability. Because I hate going to a bar and drinking a double IPA and being tipsy after drinking one.
Right, and
they're only
good at certain times. So
exactly.
You want something that you can pick up and drink anytime. Yeah. And that's what you mean by drinkability.
Yeah, and also, drinkability, to us, drinkability is, one, settling. Does it settle in your stomach? There's some beers that you'll drink, it's like, oh, I'm full.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
That's Guinness for me.
Oh, which is funny because I'm the opposite of Guinness, man. I can drink Guinness like it's water.
That's funny.
So settling, low alcohol, functionality, which kind of ties into both the
perfect
first two
for any
things.
occasion.
Yes, we want to be able to. I want to be able to have 2 beers and be fine. Right. Everything ties back into just building a great community, and it's really cool, the potential to tap into that.
Yeah,
and all the beers specifically give 10% of our profits to a charity.
Well, Hopper, thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. And we're certainly all excited to see the good things coming with you guys, and wish y'all the best of luck opening it up and getting everything going.
Thank you very much for having me out. It's been great.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.